All right, I got another Waterskip line to share. This one comes courtesy of Ezra Lawrence, aka Zen the Zenny. I saw it in this video and I messaged him to make sure it was his line, and he confirmed it was. And Zen is a lefty, so in the video, he throws it as a backhand, which is more versatile than the forehand that a righty needs to throw. But I threw this a whole bunch in practice, and I would consider it still very useful as a forehand from a righty with some limitations. And we'll go over them. But first, I'll show you the shot and then we'll talk about it. We're going to take the Glide Waterskip Gould and switch to a forehand, and then we're going to rotate around to the left. And I'm going to put the middle chevron just touching the hill here and just to the left of this tree, between these two trees, but I really want to hug this one on the right as much as possible. And then we're going to give it, probably a half to 3/4 of disc worth of hyzer. See if this one works out for us. That's looking pretty good. And it indeed is. And there's 49 feet to the eagle. Now, this is a hole where you can obviously get the eagle by going straight up the fairway and then a throw in. Uh, but the throw in, you do have to deal with the elevation change, and it's usually about 130 to 150 feet out. So certainly not a gimme. I mean, I do get it certainly from time to time, but uh, this Waterskip line, obviously, if you can drive the green, is a much higher eagle rate. And I'll say a couple things. One is for the for the righty that has to use a forehand, this really works best in winds out of the right. And even then, I need to further refine it to say it works really best in 2 and 3 winds out of the right. So there is a limitation on its usability, functionality. Uh, but if you're the kind of person that likes to just go for it, or if you're down a stroke and it's the ninth hole or even eighth hole and you want to go for it, I would say this is not a bad shot. Um, One thing is there seems to be almost a fairway back here that I didn't know existed. I mean, once you get past this one tree right here, it's pretty open. And the other thing I'll note is that even if you clip one of these trees, and this one's going to get to the green and then go in the water again. But even if you clip one of those trees, it's usually a very salvageable birdie. And here, it was a fail as far as the water skip because it skipped right across the island into the water. But it's an easy birdie. So that's what I found in my experience in practice is that even when it fails, the vast majority of the time you can still solid to birdie. Now, if you get caught on this side of the water, it's about 130-foot throw in. So not a gimme, but I'd say certainly doable. So, and again, this really 2 or 3 wind out of the right. I got it a couple times with the 1 wind out of the right, but it really struggles. So I would limit your attempts to those specific wins. But yeah, let's try one more. Whoa, I forgot to switch. That's the other thing too, the danger, I guess. If you don't switch, you're going to parts of the course you've probably never seen before. Let's switch to the forehand. And this is going to be very nice. Oh, didn't quite make it. Again, not foolproof. But because I touched the island when I hit move to lie, again, I got a very salvageable birdie. Now, this I'm on the 4 count, but had that been my first throw, that would be a very salvageable birdie. So yeah, um, I think it's again of limited functionality, but I'm gonna definitely keep it in mind and in certain circumstances. And if I get the right wind, here's a one wind. I'll show you. Really does struggle. I'm gonna definitely go for it. Let's see. We're gonna need to come over to the middle more and give it a little more hyzer, I think. And the problem is it just doesn't quite have the distance without the 2 wind, but let's see if we can get one across. There we go. Got it with the 1 wind. So, yeah, easy putt. I've had tap in eagle on this with this line. I had one that actually parked on top of that log too. That was interesting. So, anyway, yeah, I would say if you're interested, go into practice mode. And if you don't have the Gould, whatever Waterskip disc you have might work. I think the Rive, that little bit of extra fade that the Rive has at the end makes it, I think, probably a little bit more challenging. That's why I'm liking the Gould Waterskip is it's got a straighter finish, which seems to fit most of the holes where you want to possibly throw a Waterskip on. But yeah, interesting and potentially valuable Waterskip line. All right, hope you enjoyed it and hope you learned something. We'll see you around the valley.